In this video, we're going to be covering our prone shoulder external rotation liftoffs. We're going to go over a couple of different setups, but the intention is going to be the same, is to start strengthening the end range, strength and control of our shoulder external rotation here. This is something that are great to implement once we've expanded some of that range of motion using pails and rails to open up more shoulder external rotation. So for this, we're going to require the mats as well as 1 or 2 yoga blocks depending on the setup that we're going to be using. So we're going to start off in a nice prone position, lying on our bellies. The side I'm not working on, I can bring that hand here, rest my forehead on top of the back of the hand, just that we're not creating too much neck tension and motion there. Now for the arm and shoulder that we're working on, what we're going to do is set up the elbow so it's in about a 90-degree position where I want elbow relatively in line with the shoulder, and then at the elbow joint we have 90 degrees with the fist directly in front of that elbow joint or slightly pulled in. We don't want to have the arm too far behind us, too far in front of us. We don't want that elbow to be overly or partially extended. The first setup here, what we're going to do is start with the elbow joint on the ground, base of the palm up on that yoga block. I'm going to generate a good amount of tension by squeezing the fist, for engaging that forearm, shoulder, bicep, just everything around here. And then very gradually, I'm going to focus on rotating and actually rotating that shoulder using the backside tissue to help create that end range rotation. When I get to my end range, I'm going to feel a lot of tension at the back of that joint. You may feel some crampiness as well. We're going to then hold for the prescribed duration for about 3 to 5 seconds and then lower the hand right back down to the floor. Common thing that we'll see in any variation is we may start to extend that wrist because we can't rotate that shoulder. So be sure to just make sure that the wrist here does not start to bend in either direction, stays in line, and that the entire lift is happening because of our movement and tension that we're generating from that back of the shoulder itself. Our second setup here, we're going to have the elbow resting on the block with the fist towards the ground. We're going to start in relatively a bit more internal rotation on this setup. And then we go through the same thing. We're going to squeeze, engage, and then just use the elbow on the block as a pivot point and try to get as much rotation without the entire elbow lifting off, pausing at that end range for the prescribed duration, and then slowly relaxing and bringing the hand back down. Alternatively, for some of us, we're going to find that our shoulder is dumping too much to the ground, not being in a good starting position to work on that external rotation. So here we can take 2 blocks so that I have both my elbow and the base of my palm resting. You can see this sets up the shoulder to be more in line with the elbow rather than the shoulder starting more drop to the ground. And then from here, same thing, we'll generate our tension. Slowly start to externally rotate, try to lift that palm off the block, hold for the prescribed duration, and lower back down. As we perform these movements, be sure not to start lifting the spine and lifting the head off here as well. And again, the key one will be to not allow that wrist to start extending as we focus on rotating the shoulder back. So this is our prone shoulder external rotation liftoff.